Welcome to Compram Academy's BBC School News Report 2018. Our first story is all about parents fined for holiday absences and their dangers they cause.
From education lost to huge fines paid, it's one of the problems schools face today. We'll now head over to Victoria Everton Corner to explain it all.
What percent of yearly attendance is classed as acceptable?
At Compram Academy, our attendance policy includes a level of 96% as a minimum acceptable level of attendance.
Are there any criminal offences associated with keeping your child off school?
Parents' carers commit an offence if a child fails to attend school regularly, and those absences are classed as unauthorised. Depending on the circumstances, such cases may result in prosecution under Section 444 of the Education Act 1996. Fixed penalty notices are used within Compram Academy, and they are issued to parents where the attendance is unauthorised.
What would you consider acceptable circumstances for keeping a child off school?
Genuine illness, absences should be kept to a minimum. If students are genuinely ill, then that would be recorded as authorised absence. However, students should be back in school as soon as possible. In the unfortunate event of bereavement within a family, we all deal with bereavement in different ways. However, we do encourage students to be back in school as soon as possible, around the friends and around the support of the staff that's there to offer support for the students.
How do you think holidays during term time affect a child's education?
Absence from school means that the students are not accessing all the lessons that are there and available to them. So for instance, 95% attendance for the year would mean that the student had been off school for 10 days. That means 2 weeks out of school, and it equates to 40 lessons missed.
Thank you very much for your time. Back to Eleanor and Molly in the studio.
Thank you for that report, and for our second news report we are talking about plastic bottles and their dangers.
From contamination, dangers and illnesses, we will now head over to Wayne, Hadia and Olivia to talk about it more.
Plastic has started to be found in water bottles such as Nestle Pure Life and Evian, two of the leading international brands in an investigation. 250 bottles were brought in from 9 different countries and investigated. The research found plastic in bottle after bottle and brand after brand.
A dye called Now Red was put into the bottle of water, which clearly showed the particles of plastic as bright yellow coloured objects. This was concerning as the pieces were almost bigger as the width of a strand of hair.
There is no evidence that consumers with small particles of plastic has any ill health effect, but ORB media said that in science this is no concern because the plastic particles can make their way across the tract and be transmitted into the body.
The types of plastic found in the bottles were roasted polypropylene. 54% of this was found, and this is the type of plastic used to make the lids for water bottles. The investigations were conducted at the State University of New York, Fredonia.
Now over to Wayne interviewing Miss Hugh and Mr. Brooks.
How do you think the world will be in 10 years if the rate of plastic bottles doesn't change?
The problem with plastic is that it's designed to last for a very long time. There are over 1 million plastic bottles bought every minute, and this means that almost every plastic that's ever been created is still on the planet at some form. If we don't act now, we could be facing a human health crisis in 10 years' time.
Tell us how animals are affected by plastic pollution.
The problem with plastic pollution and wildlife is that this pollution is entering our seas and oceans where it is eaten by sea life. They mistake it as food. It then causes internal blockages and sometimes death, so it's having a dramatic impact on sea life. Not only is it affecting wildlife though and sea life, it's also affecting humans. It's entering the human food chain. If we eat seafood, we are in effect eating the plastic that the seafood has digested too.
Could you explain what plastic pollution actually is?
Plastic pollution is the build-up of plastic products in the environment. It's mostly throwaway plastics, so things like plastic bottles, plastic cutlery, plastic bags and plastic packaging that has a negative impact on the environment.
How could we promote recycling around school?
There are several things we can do in schools to tackle this problem, and the first one starts with the canteen. There is already a recycling bin in the canteen for plastics, which we need to encourage students to use. Secondly, I think we can work with the canteen to try and reduce the plastic packaging that is used for sandwiches at breaks and lunch times. Thirdly, the water bottles. I think we can cut down on the number of plastic bottles that are used in school if every student has their own refillable water bottle. Finally, I'm looking to create a Planet Earth Club in the summer term, and hopefully this can be one of our first issues that we can look at, and we'd look to take it wider than just what goes on in Colburnett Academy, and hopefully we can deliver our message to some of the local primary schools as well.
Thank you, Miss Heat, and for our third and final news report today, we are talking about potholes across the UK and the danger they cause.
Thousands of danger cases have erupted throughout the past couple of years. We will now hand over to Leah and Tyler to tell us more.
A total of 120,748 potholes were reported in the region in 2016, combining to a depth of almost 5 kilometres. People throughout the UK are protesting that they should pay less tax if their roads aren't getting filled. Some people are personally filling themselves with mud. The situation is that bad.
We will now head over to the interview with our drama teacher, Mr. Raw, and the troubles he faces when driving where potholes are present.
I am now joined by Mr. Raw to talk about his concerns with potholes. Our first question is, how do you feel about the pothole situation?
Hello there, you're right. How are you all? Nice to see you. I've just arrived, and believe it or not, I am 2 hours late in arriving. The reason why is because I've driven from Cleveland, where I now live, on the seafront. Wonderful view, more of that later. But I've driven from Cleveland to Colne. The journey where I used to live, which was Accrington, took 20 minutes. My journey this morning has taken 2.5 hours. Why? A, the roads are chocker with traffic. B, the weather lately has been ridiculous. But C, potholes. Unbelievable number of potholes on the roads. Even the motorway, which is usually reasonably kept, has got holes as you transfer from lane to lane. This morning I went over 4 potholes. You drop, you lift. You drop, you lift. You damage your tyres, you damage your wheels. Generally, you end up paying money out for damaged materials on your car. Ridiculous. The roads now are becoming full of potholes. The weather obviously damages the roads. The council are not repairing the potholes.
Secondly, have you seen or known anyone else who have been affected by potholes?
Yeah, I've seen plenty of people. My family, all of them, where they live in Accrington, all of them complain about the potholes. In fact, I'm going to show you something. If you follow me, I'm going to show you a pothole. There's a pothole here on our entrance to work, which staff and parents go over every day 2 or 3 times. Follow me, I'll show you. Follow me. Pothole, pothole, pot, hole, pot, hole. See the pothole? Over here. Start of a pothole, you could call it mini pothole, but it's going to be a large pothole if it's not repaired. Going down the road, will be some more.
Lastly, do you feel that potholes are getting worse and are damaging things more and more?
Well, as you can see, I'm now standing in the freezing cold yet again after showing you the pothole. Yes, I think the potholes are getting worse. Yes, they need some fast repair. And yes, they're doing lots of damage to the cars and generally to the public roads.
Thank you for your time, we appreciate it. Now heading back to the studio with me and Tyler.
Thank you, Leah and Tyler, and thank you to you all for watching and listening.
We hope you have enjoyed our Colburnett Academy BBC School News Report.